going on, everybody? Hey, this is your boy JC from JC Eagles Talk. And look, this is the season. It's here. It's here. It's here. It's here. It's here. So if we've been waiting all off season, all preseason for this upcoming Sunday, less than 26 hours away. So I had to bring in back for the third time again, Mr. Philly Insider Podcast himself. Introduce yourself, my guy.
Hey, JC, I appreciate you having me on. Everyone, I'm Hunter Doyle here from Philly Insider Podcast and Inside the Eagles. I got some articles coming out on Inside the Eagles today, so make sure y'all check those out. And yeah, we just did our weekly preview on Philly Insider. Make sure you check that out. And tonight, we have got the hype video coming out. I'm still working on it, but I'm going to have it out by tonight for y'all. I'm going to send it out to everyone, and I know y'all are going to love it. So appreciate you again having me on, JC. I love talking football with you. And, hey, late night for both of us last night, but we still got the juice today.
Yes, sir. And guess what? You already know we always have to start the live stream with our... Yes, sir. Hey, what a
game day. It feels like game day.
Hey, this is pregame. You know, hey, this is the pregame before the pregame for the pregame. Any live I'm on is going to be pregame up until the game. So
yes,
if you were sleeping, if you were tired after this song, you better wake up. We're about to get into it. All right, we are about to get into it. So before we get into it, hey, there's some people in the chat. Let's see who's in the chat here. So we have Sonic. Thank you for checking in. Little Giant himself. He coming to hate. That's okay.
Ready to lose to the Broncos tomorrow.
Yes, you're going to lose. Ethan, what's up? What's going on? Richard, what's up, my guy? Oh, that's one of my guys right there. Hey, so, look, let's get into it, man. All right, so I know yesterday that you had an interview on your podcast, the Atlanta Falcons. So let me know injury concern on both teams. I know for the Philadelphia Eagles is hardly none besides, a couple people. But go ahead. Give me your insight.
Yeah, also same for the Falcons. Not really much to talk about here. So with the Falcons, we've got Brandon Copeland, who's kind of a special teamer, but also a kind of a key linebacker for them who's coming over this year. Actually went to the same college as my dad, UPenn, baby. But, yeah, so he's a little bit banged up, but he is still expected to be a full go. And for the Eagles, yeah, I mean, Dickerson and McLeod, that was expected. That's not any news. And rest of the guys limited. It sounds like everyone in this game is a full go, and we're going to have a healthy week one matchup. But I think the concern for both sides is that in addition to the Eagles, the Falcons also did not get a ton of first-team reps in the preseason. So just fatigue, maybe, just injury concerns coming in with that. That's really the only concerns here. But sounds like both teams are ready to fly tomorrow.
So McLeod is out. So McLeod is out. So are you concerned that Mike Epps is about to get thrown into the fire, or in a Kayvon Wallace with Anthony Harris? So those are the three safeties that I know of that's playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. So are you concerned about that? That McLeod was expected to start week one and now he's not.
Yeah, I am a little bit concerned just because I know Anthony Harris is going to hold it down, whether he's back deep playing two safety sets or even if he's going to come down and play a little bit underneath. I have no doubt Anthony Harris is going to go out there and ball out tomorrow. I'm really confident in that. Now, Kayvon Wallace, I'm just not sure what his ceiling is. I think he's going to be a third safety / like your big nickel package type of guy. Listen, I really hope he can be a starting safety down the road. I do, but I'm not sure if that's his ceiling just because he's a 4th, 5th round guy. And I think he's more of just a Swiss Army knife, jack of all trades type of guy, right? I don't know if he's necessarily like really, really good at this one thing, like X, Y, or Z. And Marcus Epps, look, he's a special teamer. I think he's had his moments on defense. He's come a long way from being an undrafted free agent. But I don't think he is a starter that we can, I think the good thing is he's been with Mike Zimmer before for a half a season before he came over here, and Jonathan Gannon, disciple, obviously. So I think he'll have some familiarity there. But again, I know the front office likes him. I just don't know if these guys are to the same caliber. But again, who knows if Rodney McLeod's going to be on that same caliber after coming off of his second straight season-ending injury.
Yes.
I hope he is. I think he's a guy, he just wants to go out there and defy the odds, but there are limitations that can be put on your body after an injury, a second injury like that. So I am concerned about it, but I still think the Eagles can get the job done tomorrow.
See, the funny thing is, I was watching the Tampa Bay Bucks game versus the Dallas Cowboys, right, on
Andrew
Thursday
Adams.
night. Guess who I saw that made a saving tackle on Zeke? That literally saved the game. Andrew Adams, the guy that we released last week, went back onto the Tampa Bay practice squad, got called up that day, and he balled out really for them because of the injuries. So I don't know, man. Like the Eagles, to me, I mean, it's always been a developmental problem, but to let a guy like Andrew Adams go and then go back to the Bucks, and now you saw him shine on Thursday night. I mean, hey, were you right or wrong to keep whoever you kept? I mean, who's our fourth string safety?
I mean, I don't really, honestly don't know. And, I think to further your point, JC, look, Patrick Robinson did not have a good preseason in 2017. And then what do you know? He has, once the season starts, he turns it up and, he gets that pick 6 in the NFC Championship. We don't win the Super Bowl without that pick 6. I'm sorry. I mean, that was a game, and also credit to Chris Long too. But, P-Rob was still in the right place at the right time. And I think you look at that, you look at how they've handled the safety position. I mean, cutting Will Parks, we'll see where, if he does anything post-Eagles career, but I didn't like that decision. We really didn't get to see him much. And again, like you saw Andrew Adams for a little bit in the preseason. Yes. You really didn't see a ton of him. Also, Elijah Riley, I thought, played well in the preseason, and you didn't keep, he's on the practice squad, but, just the safety position was interesting. Last year, they kept like 6 guys as well. It's been a weird kind of management by the front office of that position, and also the lack of investment into it, I would say, in the draft. In free agency, no doubt. They got McLeod, they got Jenkins, now they have Harris, but draft not so much other than Kayvon Wallace, at least in recent years.
Look, I just really thought that they would keep Andrew Adams because, I mean,
veteran.
The McLeod injury, the unknown factor of him, not knowing if he was going to be healthy enough, I figured, hey, why not keep Andrew? But it is what it is, and we will see if that comes back and bite us in the butt on Sunday, tomorrow. Hey, Richard, I want to beat the Falcons so bad because I'm an Eagles fan from Savannah, Georgia. Hey, you are holding it down out there in Savannah. Hey, I appreciate you. Us Eagles fans are everywhere, cross country.
Yes, sir.
Overseas. We are the most traveling fans, regardless what stadium we're in. Hey, we always there.
Yeah.
I was at right now, though. Where are you at?
On Milwaukee. I was in Milwaukee on Monday at the Phillies game. And I see a bunch of Phillies fans there at the end of the game, and I see a Devontae to Hurts t-shirt there as well. And I was like, let's go. Like, they really are everywhere, man. They're everywhere.
Yeah, so where are you at right now? What state are you in?
With the Eagles just going into tomorrow?
No. I'm talking about like your college.
Yeah. Actual
state.
Yeah. I'm in Illinois right now. So,
all right, so how many Eagles fans do you see around there? A lot, or
I see I would say I see 5 or 6 regularly with the Eagles jerseys on Sundays. So
okay, all right.
On campus, yeah.
All right, so let's get back to this. So the biggest threat on the Falcons, right, on the offensive side, the Eagles have to stop. Like, what are your thoughts? I kind of know what you're going to say, but I definitely have a whole different take on that. But go ahead.
I got you. So look, I think Kyle Pitts is definitely going to be the guy the Eagles need to look to contain, just because I'm not saying Calvin Ridley isn't going to do damage. I think he's going to get his. I mean, Darius Slay's a great corner, but it's just going to come down to, can Darius Slay get timely stops, in my opinion? Because Calvin Ridley is just that dude. He is just that dude. But I think when you look at Kyle Pitts, especially, we can't play cover 2 tomorrow because that middle of the field for Kyle Pitts going down the seam, not happening. You're going to have the linebacking core, which I like our linebacking core, but I'm not sure if they can go man-to-man or the safeties can go man-to-man. I think man coverage versus Kyle Pitts is a death wish. So I think you've just got to throw a lot of different looks at him and try to bracket him with 2 guys, just in zone coverage, just like try to chip him at the line, just throw him off of his game a little bit, show him what the NFL's about, and maybe you go man one side, zone the other side, stuff like that. Just try to throw him off as much as possible. I think you just look at the athleticism of Kyle Pitts, the power, the yards after catch. If you get it to him short, he can still do damage after the catch. He's not the best blocker, so I think we need to take advantage there in the running game. He's not a bad blocker though, but we'll see how it translates. Whether that above average ability at the NCAA level with some deficiencies is the same at the NFL level. I don't think it will. I think he's going to struggle a little bit in terms of blocking, but again, you also got to keep an eye out if he starts blocking and then releases late off the line into coverage, and then you don't have a guy on him because the guy who was covering him saw that and then came into blitz and all that stuff. You saw that with Gronk the other night. They did that quite a bit, absolutely. Releasing him late off the line. So, look, I think it comes down to me. Can we contain Kyle Pitts and just I'm not asking them to completely shut him down. I'm just saying hold him enough to where he's not a factor. And I think we need to win. I think for that to happen, you need to win on the early downs and get pressure. Get pressure with your front four, draw up some blitz packages, and be able to get them in 3rd and long so that he's not too much of a problem.
So, who do you think that I'm going to say is the biggest threat to stop on the Falcons?
I feel like this is going to be something out of the ordinary. So I'm going to say, is it out of the ordinary or
no?
It's really not. Is it Ridley? Ridley?
Nope. It's Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan. Yo, you have to stop Matt Ryan because he's the veteran on that team. He's the quarterback. And I'm expecting that our front four could get a lot of pressure on him within 3 to 4 seconds, that he doesn't have to throw it to a Ridley or a Pitts if we get after him. So the quarterback is the key because he's the most veteran. Julio Jones is not there no more. So that was our our biggest, pain in the what, because every time we played him, especially that one year we played him on opening night where he went for over 200 yards on Byron Maxwell. He's not there no more. So because of his route running abilities, his veteran presence, stuff like that. So, but Matt Ryan though, I feel like every year he throws for about 4,000 or 5,000 yards, regardless of who he has. So if we could get pressure up the middle, up in his face, beat him up a little bit, have the Falcons start, a little quick pass, just like the Cowboys was doing on Thursday night, a little real quick. Then we could kind of control the Pitts and the Ridleys, So I think that Matt Ryan is the biggest key to stop in this game.
Yeah, and I think just to piggyback off your point and further it a little bit, I was reading about a week ago or two, reference Bobby Shmurda there, but about a week ago, I looked at the top 10 NFL, their top 10 quarterbacks under pressure rankings, and Matt Ryan was 7th, which surprised me because, I didn't think he was the best under pressure, but gave some numbers, gave some explanation to it. And I was like, dang, he really is good under pressure. So that's something you got to watch. I mean, he's just smart. He knows what to do most of the time. There are going to be times where maybe he makes a bad throw when he's really, really under duress. But, any slight type of pressure, he's going to be able to adjust to it. He's also, even as crazy of looks that we show at him, he's going to be able to dissect it. And I think that's big when you have the Falcons have a center who's only started 2 games before, and Matt Hennessy was a big draft prospect a year ago. That's going to be big for him in terms of communication and all that, having Matt Ryan there to kind of ease it, especially when you have, I don't know if you remember the clip where one of the wide receivers wasn't set and Matt Ryan said, "Get set," to him on the line. But, Matt Ryan knows what he's doing out there. So I actually love that pick by you, JC.
All right. So, Richard have a great comment. Who's defending Pitts? Who would you put on Pitts?
Yeah, again, I'm really just not putting one guy there. I'm allocating multiple bodies towards him. So if we're going to go cover 3 with one safety back, I'm going to make sure to have, I'm going to make sure to bracket. So if he goes, either which way, I've got a guy towards him, but, he's not going to be able to pre-snap say, oh, I'm going towards this one guy. This is what I got to do. Versus zone coverage, I'm really just trying to keep him in front of me for the most part, right? Not letting him get behind me, not getting drawn in by play action. I think Singleton's gotten better at that, not crashing in, making sure you read the keys of the offensive line and say, oh, it's a pass play now. They're in pass pro. Jog back a little bit, take away that throw, keep him in front of me. So I can't really put one guy on him. If I had to pick one guy, I think Anthony Harris is set to play back deep. I just think he's going to be back there. I could see him maybe playing one-on-one. If I had to task one guy with it, I would give him that role just because he is the veteran, even though I want him back deep to kind of help out with Gage and Ridley a little bit. But I also could see, I mean, Davion, I know he's limited, but like in terms of athleticism and build, he's the guy who's probably most fit to cover him one-on-one. But again, the instincts aren't quite there yet. I think he's going to play more this year, but I'm not putting him against Kyle Pitts one-on-one and destroying his confidence week one. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Do you have any one guy you'd put on him yet?
I would treat Harris like a Malcolm Jenkins. I would just bring him in the box and look, like I said, with our front four getting pressure on Matt Ryan, hopefully, you know, we won't have to wait long, and you know, he could get a sack before he get off to a Pitts. But I would treat, I would bring Anthony Harris in the box and play, you know, on Kyle Pitts. I mean, I don't. That's the best guy because I won't put Maddox on him. You know, then we're taking him off of somebody else. You know, I would not put Maddox on Kyle Pitts, and
Kyle
I won't
Pitts
put a linebacker.
Kyle Pitts is about the size of two Maddoxes.
I definitely would not put a linebacker on him. You know, I had somebody say that Eric Wilson is a coverage linebacker, but I would not put him. If anything, I would double team him. If anything like that, but I really think that we might be putting too much stock into Kyle Pitts. It's his first game. It's his first NFL game. And, you know, I mean, we already heard the little rumors with Jamar Chase. He can't really catch the ball right, you know, because the white lines are not there. So we never know what we're going to see from a rookie on the first game. Maybe 2 games, you know, third game, maybe. But the first game, I think Matt Ryan is going to go to Old Faithful or Ridley. You know, I think that he's going to just go to him unless they are in the red zone, and then it becomes a bigger threat, in my opinion. But for the most part, I would play Anthony Harris on him.
I have a question for you too, JC. This is something that I've been thinking about a little bit in this matchup. If Kyle Pitts starts to do some damage, do you consider putting Slay on him and following him around, Nelson on Ridley, and then you have, you know, Maddox on Gage, which I really wouldn't prefer, but would you consider, if Kyle Pitts really starts tearing it up, would you consider putting Slay on him? I think you keep him on Ridley most of the game, but it's just some food for thought, you know?
I would just, all right, if Pitts is going off, I will put Anthony Harris and Eric Wilson. You know, I mean, I just put a faster linebacker with Anthony, you know, because Eric Wilson could go underneath and Harris could cover up top. So I would just blanket him, but I would not take I won't put Maddox on him or, you know, Nelson. He's been getting cooked the whole preseason, so I'm definitely not going to put
he's
Nelson
coming off
on
a
him.
bad. He's coming off a bad year too.
Yeah, and Slay, I would want Slay to cover Ridley. You know what I mean? So I would put Slay on Ridley. But all right, so speaking of Slay, I have my doubts about him. You know, especially coming off of last year. If he goes for about if Ridley goes for 140 yards on Slay, what are your thought process with our number one shutdown corner? Like, you know, especially from last year, it was all Jim Short system didn't work. So if the same thing is happening in the first game out the gate, what is your confidence level on Slay throughout the whole year with covering the number one guy?
Right. My confidence level is very low if that happens. And my thought process is that he's washed. You know, if that happens, my thought process is that. Now, again, like I said, I do expect Ridley to feast tomorrow. I think that's just the nature of the wide receiver having the advantage because cornerback is just that tough of a position to play. And Darius Slay he's not the same primetime corner he was. I still think he's really, really good, but he's not in his prime anymore, to say the least. So, oh man, Ohio State, Oregon getting chippy right now. But yeah, I think, I think Slay, if 140 yards can't happen, you know, 100 yards, depending on how that happens, you know, like for example, like Darius Slayton put up like 80 yards on him last year. All of that came on like pretty much one catch, and it was a really tough play to make too. So, you know, I don't really fault Darius Slay for that, but and also in the previous matchup, Darius Slayton did absolutely nothing against Darius Slay. But, you know, if it's like he just consistently is getting eaten up for like 7, 8, 9 catches, like we've got to be able to limit that. You know, like I said, it just comes down to even if he gets torched the first 3 quarters, if he comes up in the 4th quarter, I'm cool with that. Like, because that's what we need. Timely stops and third down stops, I think, is going to be big for him. We just got to be able to, you know, limit him. There's going to be times where Ridley gets separation, but there's also got to be times where Slay is right in his hip pocket. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a really good matchup. What do you think?
Yeah. Look, I brought it up for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
If Ridley goes for 140, I need Slade to man up. I mean, I need the Eagles fan out there to really start thinking, hey, maybe he's not that shutdown corner. Maybe it wasn't the Jim Short system. Maybe we need to really start looking for a shutdown corner in the draft,
right,
next year. Because look, people are saying, yeah, he shut down I don't know, like
McLaurin.
McLaurin and all this, but they're not top 5 wide receiver. And really, to me, maybe he's like the top 10.
I think he could be top 5 by the end of the year.
Yeah. By the end of the year. But if you can't stop him, what are you? Like, man, are you even top 10 at this point or top 15? I mean, where would we put Slay at? And then in our division itself, we got Cooper, Lamb and Gallup and Slayton and Galladay and McLaurin. And I mean, so we going to face some tough wide receivers. So if you're getting cooked the first game out the gate, man, we're going to have a long season on the outside.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it comes back to, like, you look at Bradbury in New York, he came from the NFC South where he was facing Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, and what's the other team in that division? Oh God, I'm blanking. Saints, Falcons, Panthers. Right? The Panthers. Well, he was on the Panthers.
Oh, the Bucks.
The Bucks. Mike Evans. Yep. You're facing those 3 guys twice a year, and then you come over to the NFC East, which isn't a slack for. It doesn't slack by any means on wide receivers. You still have Terry McLaurin. You still have Amari Cooper. The Eagles have had practice squad guys out there, but when he goes up, when you see Bradbury against guys like Cooper and McLaurin, like, that's nothing for him compared. And I'm not saying he completely took them out of the game, but that's not the same thing as when he's going up against the NFC South. And look, I mean, Slice still went up against Devontae Adams twice a year in the NFC North. Like, right? Don't get it twisted. Still have to go up against Adam Thielen too. But I think that Slay is definitely showing signs that he's not the same corner anymore. But I just hope he can continue to be a really, really good corner long enough that we are able to have success. So, I'm hoping that this turns out well, because, again, and Bradbury also is very young. So I'm just hoping that doesn't pan out poorly for us. And we couldn't really, I don't think we could have swayed Bradbury to come here. I think he was kind of set on New York, but, we'll see. And someone mentioned Derek Stingley from LSU. That's my guy. We'll see how he does this year. Andrew Booth from Clemson, another guy to watch. There's some good corners for next year. We'll see how they do by year's end. But I mean, they definitely got opportunities in the draft next year with how many picks they got to get someone.
Yeah, and Eagles has landed. I mean, he just came in and literally said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
If our pass rush get there, we won't have to worry about Slade getting cooked or or Nelson or Pitts, because I believe. Remember the Seattle Seahawks, the Legion of Boom, and that's the reason why we went out and got Byron Maxwell. It's a system, because they were getting so much pressure so fast that Byron Maxwell looked like Deion Sanders. And the Philadelphia Eagles just ran and threw a whole bunch of load of money.
Look at Darby last year.
Cut. Yeah.
Look at Darby last year in Washington with that front.
Yeah, hey, exactly. Because it's all about the system. And I feel like with the pass rush we had, with all the hype around Sweat, Barnett, Graham, and Kerrigan coming off the edge, and Milton Williams in the middle, Hargrave and Cox, even if he get double teamed, then Hargrave could eat. I mean, I'm excited. And
I'm excited for Hargrave.
Yeah, so exactly. This is the first year Hargrave and Cox, they are coming in healthy. And all training camp, Hargrave is looking good. Hargrave is looking good. If Hargrave looked that good, then Fletcher Cox should eat. He should, this should be double teaming Hargrave and leave Fletcher Cox one-on-one if he looks that good, because that's all I've been hearing about Hargrave, and Sweat. Those are the two guys on the defense up front that I've been hearing about. So we should be okay. I mean, I'm going into this game very confident on our pass rush, and we'll see what happens.
I will say before we move on to the next topic, the one thing I am concerned about is that since the Falcons have such an inexperienced O line right now, they're obviously starting third-round rookie Jalen Mayfield at left guard now because Josh Andrews got hurt. Matt Hennessy starting at center. He has potential. They both have a lot of potential, but inexperience there. On the right side, Chris Lindstrom's pretty good, but right tackle Caleb McGarry is a concern. Left tackle is not a concern because Jake Matthews has started there for what seems like forever. But with that offensive line, some of that inexperience, I do wonder if they're going to kind of go how the Giants have gone against us in years past. We're just like quick pass, quick pass, quick pass. Oh, you think it's a slant now? Slug out, and we're gone. Stuff like that. So I am a little bit concerned about that. Teams have done that to try to limit our pass rush, but I just hope I have confidence Jonathan Gannon's not going to let that continue to happen drive after drive after drive, where Jim Schwartz is just like, oh, I'll just make an adjustment at the next game and hope we win this one. I know that's what he wasn't thinking, but that's what it felt like to me as a fan most of the time. So.
See, look, I just feel like that our linebackers are fast. Like our linebackers are fast, that could help out. Even they say that the biggest way to stop a aggressive defense is to what? Is to be the quick outs. But I feel like with our linebackers and stuff like that, with Singleton, this dude is a beast. He's flying everywhere. He even said it that his whole purpose is to break the Philadelphia Eagle his tackling record. He's going after that record. I don't know what it is, but it has to be in the hundreds. And he showed it throughout the preseason that he is ready. He's ready to take that next step, from the jump. And I'm excited about it.
Hey, we've got breaking news, JC. According to Adam Kaplan, Jordan Mailata has agreed to a 4-year, $64 million extension with an upside of $80 million.
Wow. Hey,
that's good for him.
Cheap. That's cheap too. If for starting left tackle to protect your man, that is outstanding. Wow.
Dude, I'm excited. We got him for years to come.
Yeah. Look, I'm glad that Howie Roseman made it work out because, right now, I feel like that we need to start locking these young guys in before they start being, that all pro, that, So we need, that was a good job, and I'm proud that we got it done. All right, so the next question, the biggest weapon on the Falcons defense that can wreck the game for the Eagles. Right now, we're going in thinking that our offensive line is top 5. So if somebody is going to wreck that theory and wreck the game for us, who would it be?
Well, I have to go back to the last time the Eagles played the Falcons, JC, back in 2019 when I believe – correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Grady Jarrett had a pretty good game that day. And even if he didn't, I do remember while Sayamalu, I'm a big fan of Sayamalu. He's done really well over the years. That was one of his rough games that year. And he had quite a few penalties there. And you know why that was because Grady Jarrett's on the interior there. And Jason Kelce can only help out so much in that battle. And Mailata is going to be concerned about the edge most of the time. So, look, I think that Grady Jarrett, he can be a game record. He's no Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is a whole fleet of tanks. But, Grady Jarrett, I still think can do damage and make an impact on a game. And we'll see. I mean, they are switching to a 3-4 this year. So it's going to be a little bit of a different role, I think, for Grady Jarrett. But I think him. And then I also think that AJ, I'm not worried about AJ Terrell because Devontae Smith kind of cooked him in the natty a couple years ago. But I'll say next to Deion Jones, his partner in crime is Foye Oluokun, who most people don't know about. But Deion Jones actually didn't have a great season last year. They kind of found out he's not really good at covering tight ends. He's more fit to be glued to a running back. That's just kind of his game. And Oluokun is probably going to be playing middle linebacker this year from what I talked to the Falcons guy yesterday. And it sounds like he could spy Jalen Hurts at times tomorrow. So that could make an impact depending on how he does spying Jalen Hurts, depending on how he is in pass coverage. This guy had 4 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, 117 tackles, and 3 sacks last year. That's a lot of numbers. And even just off the numbers, the eye test, I watched a little bit of him. Dude can play. And I believe he's only like 215 pounds. So if you need him to go out there and cover a tight end, he runs a 4.48. He can do that. While he's not the biggest dude, he plays big. He plays very big. So keep an eye on him in the tight end game and the quarterback spy game tomorrow. That's the big guy I'm going to go with. And Grady Jarrett is just Grady Jarrett. So,
yeah. All right. Besides Jarrett, the obvious, I think it's Jones. I really think because they're going to blitz him. I
Mhm.
think that in order
I
to
agree.
help the Falcons on defense out, that they're going to blitz Jones. I really feel like it's going to be timely blitzes. It's not going to be obvious. They're going to see if Jalen Hurts could kind of pick it up. Could change his read. On the line. Could he spot it before it happened? I think that
Yeah,
Jones is going to be a big factor. If we all focus on Jared, but I'm telling you, I think it's going to be Jones. But we'll see because I think it's the
mhm,
unknown factor too because Dan Quinn is not there no more, and now they have a new
right.
defensive coordinator. So who's going to be calling the plays? We don't know. I mean, we haven't seen it before. So even
Mhm,
on both sides with the Philadelphia Eagles, a JG factor on the Eagles side.
right.
Nobody knows what play calling he's going to do, who's going to do what, and we're just going to see how Week 1 goes. But Jones and
Yeah,
Jared are my two biggest, a concern on the Falcons defense.
yeah. No, I completely agree with you, JC. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see it tomorrow. See how our guys react. And like you said with the blitzing, I mean, I just think, going along with how Matt Ryan can kind of help Matt Hennessy as the center quarterback thing, Jason Kelsey needs to really be big for Jalen Hurts tomorrow and just communicating everything and being ready to diagnose where the pressure is going to come from. Because I think that's something that, while I'm very excited for Jalen Hurts, you know, that's only like partly under his control. He does help set up the pass protection, but
Yes.
post snap, he's got to work on it. He's got to focus on the reads and everything. So that's something that's going to be big tomorrow.
Yeah, you know what? And I love the fact that you brought up Kels or Kelsey, and
Same
whatever
thing.
day they want to go by. But yeah, so because yeah, he's a veteran. Like he's a vet. He's the most consistent lineman that we have. He's seen it all.
Yeah.
He's been through the trenches, Super Bowl. He went against the Falcons before, so he kind of seen it all. Just
Yeah.
like Tom Brady. There's nothing that you could throw at Tom Brady, coverage wise, that he can dissect. So Kelsey will play a major role on Sunday in helping Jalen Hurts and the coverages. So I can't wait for that to see what happens because Kelsey. And then
Yeah.
hey, did you see his hair? Kelsey's
Yeah.
hair. He,
Dude, in that kickoff video.
yeah, yo, no, he dyed it blonde like Zach
Oh,
Ertz.
I did see
Yeah,
that. I did see that.
he went blonde with Zach Ertz and took a picture next to Zach Ertz, and they both are
Uh,
blonde. And
yeah, yeah. I loved in the kickoff video too how Zach Ertz was like,
oh
oh, I thought it
yeah.
said go blonde.
Oh no, I was like, go birds. But yeah. All right, so who wins in the trenches? And do you think whatever team could dominate? Yes, we
Mhm,
got our top offense line or flashy kind of stuff like that. But the scheme wise, it's all going to depend on scheme. But who wins in the
mhm,
trenches? And do you think whoever wins in the trenches will win that game? Or do you think it's the skill position that's gonna,
mhm.
regardless how the trenches is?
I think who wins in the trenches absolutely wins this game. And again, looking at past matchups, this is low key kind of been a rivalry between these two teams. Like these games
Yes.
have been close. They've been close. I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
going back to that 2015 game where Julio put up a ton of yards. I mean,
Yeah.
Sam Bradford and DeMarco Murray's not so wonderful Eagles debuts that day, but it was still a close game, I believe. 2016, I mean, that was close for the most part. Eagles pulled away at the end, Wentz's rookie year, but then you go on obviously 2017 and 2018 with the goal line stands at the end, and 2019 with the Ertz almost getting to the sticks. But you look at the 2019 matchup. I mean, again, like I said, the Eagles' offensive line did not have a great game. I mean,
Yeah.
you had Carson Wentz out there throwing passes almost on his knees. That pass
Yes.
was insane. But
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah, and then you look at the other side, the Eagles front four just for whatever reason, despite that, they kind of tend to underperform at times against offensive lines that should just dominate. And
Mhm.
they kind of slowed up and just didn't really do enough damage in that game. And the Falcons offense was just like moving down the field in that game. So I'm a big believer in the trenches in general, but especially in this matchup, especially with how these two teams are this year and how much is new behind the trenches for both teams.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be huge for either team to, especially Jalen Hurts, keep him comfortable back there.
Yeah.
On the defensive side, can we get to Matt Ryan and just get him down rather than get pressure on him? I think it's going to be, huge. And even on the defensive side of the ball, can the Eagles front four get home and not just get pressure on Matt Ryan, but like, can we make it easier on our guys back there so that it's not as tough, like we were talking about with Slay and Pitts and all that. We already talked about that. So I really do think whoever wins the trenches wins this game. I still think it's going to be close regardless. Like, these are two teams who just know how to hang in games. Falcons know how to hang in games and then almost win them and lose them. But new coaching staff, we'll see if they're newly motivated this year. They got Dan Quinn out of there. So that'll be interesting. But what are your thoughts on the trenches, JC?
Well, just based on history, yeah, this game is going to be close, right? But I feel like the Falcons has never faced a Eagle team with a dual threat quarterback. If Carson Wentz, so Carson Wentz had escapabilities, but a Jalen Hurts, a dual threat quarterback, is different. So I feel like that the Falcons is going to be on the hills, and our offensive line is going to be able to dominate their defensive line because of the dual threat, ability of Jalen Hurts. Unlike past years where we had the Nick Foles in the wild card game, Carson Wentz and stuff like that, Bradford. So this is a big deal. The Philadelphia Eagles this year, even if they are getting dominant in the trenches, right, with the Jalen Hurts escapability, I feel like that we are in good hands and that we will be okay. So, yeah, I agree. The trenches is crucial, just like Richard said. Yeah, the trenches is crucial. But when you have a quarterback that could escape like a Michael Vick or Russell Wilson, those type of escapability, I think that we're going to be fine. And then that will prevent the team, the other team from trying to, blitz or, coming up close, because now they got to back off a little bit, which allowed the game to slow down, the running game to pick up, or, play action and all that stuff. So.
Right. And also, as the guy I was talking to yesterday, JC, you hit the nail on the head with that, because he talked about how even Russell Wilson, they struggle. Obviously, Falcons have struggled with him, but even Tyrod Taylor, back when he was on the Bills, the Falcons have just but past few years, recent history, they have really struggled with mobile QBs. So I just want to say, you're spot on with that, man. And I think that gives us a big advantage. And like Richard said, we got the element of surprise, but Falcons do as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so let's move on to our Philadelphia Eagles. How do you think Jalen Hurts will do on Sunday? What would you want his stat line to look like? Because I have and let me tell you right now, no Dak Prescott stat line. So I'm about to just let you go, but I don't want to see a Dak Prescott stat line, 42 for 58, because that's bad news.
Right. And I think with Dak also, like you said, I don't want to I pretty much agree with what you said wholly, because I don't want to see Jalen Hurts throwing the ball 40, 50, 60 times tomorrow. Cowboys can do that in stat pad if they want, but that's not our games. We actually like to win football games. So, I think Jalen Hurts tomorrow, in terms of stat line, look, I'm just expecting him to kind of just do what we need him to do to win. I think down the road, we'll see some really big performances from him this year. I think there's going to be some games like the Cardinals game last year where he just pops off. But I think, Saints game as well. I think this game we're going to see him. I'm going to say he throws for around 223 yards. I think he's going to rush for, let's say he rushes for 73. I do think he's both off of scrambles and design runs. I think that's going to be big this year. And I'm going to give him 2 tutties as well. I think he's going to have a good game. I might give him 1 turnover just because I think the Falcons are really going to try to confuse him, and it's going to be a little bit tough. But I still think he's going to be able to bounce back from it. He's not going to go over the sidelines and sulk. He's just going to get back to work and get back on his horse and be ready to go back out there.
Yeah, look, I think that Jalen Hurts will probably throw about for 240. A 250 range. Miles Sanders and the running backs, it might combine for about 150 combined, which will protect Jalen Hurts a little bit. I do agree with the 2 passing touchdowns, maybe 1 rushing, 1 fumble. While he's rushing, he might get hit the wrong way. But yeah, so I do not want to see a 400 or 500 passing yard, because that means that our running game is crap. That means that Gainwell is not doing nothing. That means Sanders is not doing nothing. And that's bad news, because we should be dominating, the Atlanta Falcons on the front, on the offensive line. So we need to be balanced. And this is going to say a lot. what is Nick Sirianni offense going to look like? And we're going to see if it's going to be like the Colts last year when, Philip Rivers was more of a game manager. He threw the
Yeah.
ball when he had to throw the ball, but, Taylor and Hines and, those guys and, your tight end set. So if Jalen Hurts is throwing for 400 or 500 yards, then we are going to be shocked, and it's not going to be a good year at all because
No. Mm-mm.
accuracy was an issue. That's why he's ranked 29 out of 32 quarterbacks, which I don't agree with. That's why
Yeah.
everybody got us as underdog. It's all because of Jalen Hurts. So I need to
Mm-hmm.
see a balanced stat line, even if he managed the game. I don't care. I do not care if he managed the game, 220, 240, passing yard, 2 touchdowns, and 1 rushing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't have anything else to add. You hit it on the nail on the head again, JC.
All right. So, do you think the triplets will be a factor, or do you think that we will be focused more on the running game?
So the triplets being Rager, Watkins, and Smith, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right. All right. So I think they're going to be a big factor tomorrow, man. Like I said, and again, the Falcons guy was telling me, he reminded me that in the national championship, AJ Terrell didn't have too much trouble with like Judy or Waddle. He had trouble with Devontae Smith. That was
Yeah.
who he had trouble with in that game. And I think Devontae Smith's going to have a really nice first game. I think Jalen Rager is going to do much better. And I think we're just going to see Rager have some really good games and then just some games where he contributes. I think tomorrow's going to be more so just where he contributes and just I think he's going to make an impact on every game, just being underneath there, taking yards after catch, also has a deep threat at times. And, I think him and Watkins are both going to spend time in the slot tomorrow, probably more so Rager. But I think you're going to see all three of these guys move around a little bit. I think you're going to see Devontae and Rager. I think they're going to be used in the run game with reverses and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be huge. I'm so excited about that. And I think Watkins, I don't know if he has a big game just because I think there's going to be, there is some getting used to that Hurts has got to do just in game with Watkins a little bit more. I think they've got chemistry, but, being with Devontae for all those years and then Rager, he played a lot more games with last year. But I will say, I think Watkins is going to make like the few catches he does make, I think it's going to be like a game-changing catch. I think it's going to be come in a big situation, and I think it's going to be hard for the Falcons to keep up with the speed of the triplets, in addition to the 2 tight ends that are going to be on the field at times, and the running backs we have, and Jalen Hurts' mobility. I think it's going to be a lot for them to handle in their first game.
Oh, look, I have a different theory. I feel like with the triplets, one of them will be returning punts. So I feel like with that being said, that one of them will have a big factor return punts, and then 2 of them will have a factor, in the passing game.
Like that.
With the reverses and stuff like that, with the quick screen, with the bubble screen, with Watkins. I mean, I think that they're going to have a big factor, but who's going to return punts is the key because we saw what Rager and Smith practicing, return punts, and special team is going to be a key factor, a big factor in this game also because field position is going to play a big role. If we start from our 5-10 yard line like the Dallas Cowboys was, their punter, that Tampa Bay Bucks punter was putting them like on the 2 yard line to start a drive. I don't want to see that. So we need some good special teams back there, some good returns back there. But I just feel like that the triplets will combine, be a factor, but one will have a bigger factor on special teams and 2 will be in the passing game.
I like that, especially because I think we're going to be running a lot of 12 personnel tomorrow, especially because that's just our game.
Here we go. Right to the next question.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to run a good mix of 12 personnel and 11 personnel. While I've heard that he would like to run a lot of 11 personnel, I think he recognizes the personnel he has right now, the tight ends he has, and I think he's definitely going to pound it in the middle with Goddard and Ertz. And I think you're also going to see some 21 personnel where you have Gainwell and Sanders in the backfield, and you're going to have Gainwell coming back on a motion on that swing screen, and you saw that a little bit in the preseason too. You feed him on that swing screen, and then the defense collapses a little bit, but then you can take shots over the middle, take shots downfield, and get them a little too aggressive, right? And the thing with that is like, even if you're just continually reading so that even if the swing screen is taken away, you're either going to be the quarterback's going to be able to run, or there's going to be another option there. Like there's
Mhm.
always options with that, and I think that you're going to see them both on the field, even if it's just Miles in the backfield. I think you're going to see Kenny out wide a few times at least, or in the slot a little bit. That's his game. I mean, you see Antonio Gibson with Washington; they put him out wide at times, run screens to him. I think you're going to see Kenny utilized quite a bit tomorrow, and yeah, I think you're going to see 2 running backs, 2 tight ends in the field a good bit, 3 wide receivers at times. And yeah, I mean, I was going to say 4 wideouts, but that was more with the impression earlier in the preseason when we had Hightower, who also has some speed, but obviously he's not on the team right now. Speaking of which, I think we find out today who gets elevated for the game tomorrow out of the practice squad. I think we get to elevate 2 guys each week. So my expectation is Jordan Howard might be called up just because he was used quite a bit in the preseason for him to get cut. That was a surprise cut for me, but yeah, that's kind of what I expect from Sirianni, and I'm excited to see how he varies the personnel, but also kind of finds his groove maybe with one set and just continues to go with the same look and beats teams with a lot of different plays and variation off that look. So what are you expecting, man?
Yeah, I want to see a lot of 21 personnel, man. Like
Yes.
It's hard to stop because it's unpredictable. When you have 2 running backs in the backfield, who's gonna get it? What's gonna happen? I mean, is it a run or is it a gadget for a throw? And then your tight ends are running free because your linebackers are so focused on your 2 running backs because that's their job. That's a linebacker job. Now you take that away from the tight end, them away from the tight end, and now it could be open field. So I want to see a lot of 12 personnel in the red zone area. That's where I want to see,
Absolutely.
Goddard, even Richard Rodgers is still here, right? We still have Richard Rodgers, right?
So,
no.
What I understand is that from reading Mike K's article, so this isn't official or anything. It still has to happen, but they cut him in week 1 so that they could, because his contract would have been fully guaranteed. So now they can re-sign him in week 2. Now that his contract's not guaranteed. So we'll see if he's brought back or not. I think he will be, because it sounds like Jack Stoll might be used as a fullback sometimes and kind of that hybrid a little bit. And Rodgers is a safety blanket. So maybe they do, and maybe they revert Stoll to practice squad. I don't know how that's going to work. I really don't know, but we'll see. He could be back on the roster, point being.
Yeah, so like in the red zone area, I want to see 3 tight end sets. I want to see, Goddard, Ertz, and Stoll, and the 12 personnel package with the J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I know a lot of people hate it. But a jump ball scenario, it's 3rd down. It's 3rd down and goal. From the 5-yard line, a jump ball scenario. If Hurts and Goddard is expected to get the ball, and now you have JJ on the outside. Look, I want to see different packages, but instead of the whole 4 wideout. Like, I don't want to see the 4 wideout. I want to protect Jalen Hurts as much as possible. And to do that, it will be the 12 personnel package and the 21 personnel package.
And man, you talk about J-Job, bro. I mean, look, I'm never going to support the 2nd-round pick for J-Job, but, I've been saying it all off season, and since middle last season too. He's a slot receiver. Jason Avant has said it too. He is meant to play in the slot, and he has done really well in the reps he's gotten there. He just didn't get the ball a ton when he was there last year. And look, you don't got to put him on the field a ton. He's your 5th wide receiver, but you give him a red zone snap or 2, maybe he goes out there and makes the catch. I mean, look at that 2-point conversion he had against Marcus Peters last year. He cooked Marcus Peters out of the slot. I mean, actually, he wasn't out of the slot there. He was kind of in line towards formation, but point being, like, when he's closer to the offensive line, he does better. So I want to see him play. And yeah, I mean, I will give a little bit of sense of comfort, even if we do go 4-5 wide. And I think if we go 4-5 wide, we'll have a running back and tight end out there. But I think that if we do that, it'll be quick read. So hopefully that'll limit the pressure Jalen Hurts is seeing. But at the same time, like you said, if you're going 4-5 wide and they're bringing a ton of guys there, and then they're, a couple guys are dropping back and then a couple guys are coming in, that can still be a little bit tough. So I agree with you. I'd like to see a lot of 12 personnel tomorrow and 21 personnel for sure. Especially with Gainwell's pass protection ability.
Exactly. Your Gainwell is a utility tool, and he could do it all. So, I mean, that's a factor too, because even if Miles Sanders is not out there, you don't know what Gainwell is going to do. Like, he could catch, run. Hey, he might even throw the damn ball. Who knows? Hey, a running back, throw back to the quarterback, through the wide receiver, all these gadgets. We don't know, but I love it, though. I love the fact that we got Gainwell. I think that was the biggest steal of the draft was Gainwell, 3rd round. supposed to be a projected third round, we got in the fifth round. So look, I'm happy we got him. So if you're just tuning in, of course, hey, the breaking news was Jordan Mariota signed a 4-year deal worth about what, 64 to 80 something $million.
So 64 million with an upside of 80 million.
So that is great news for Philadelphia Eagles. Hey, we have got our left tackle for about 4 more years. All right, so let's put your Atlanta Falcons hat fan on. All right, so you are the fan of Atlanta Falcons. All right, you've been an Atlanta Falcons fan all your life. What makes you think that your team will beat the Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, look, we've got the more experienced quarterback coming back. We've got Calvin Ridley out wide, who's been doing his thing the past year, so we've got continuity there. Look, we've also got Russell Gage, who's an under-the-radar weapon, who Steven Nelson is not going to be able to handle. Again, I'm speaking from Falcons fan perspective here. I believe the Birds are going to win, but
you're a Falcons fan. You can't say that. I need you to stick with the Falcons.
I feel so bad doing this though.
Do it.
Look, we've got the 6th overall pick, who his position isn't wide receiver or tight end. He is W for weapon. That's who Kyle Pitts is. And you've got Hayden Hurst as well, who's going to follow up with him as the other tight end as a receiver. Look, our receiving game is lethal. You guys aren't going to be able to handle it with your young linebacking core. And with, sorry to say it, Darius Slay getting older and Steven Nelson just not the same guy anymore, and Rodney McLeod is out. Now, looking on the defensive side of the ball, we've still got Grady Jarrett there, who's going to give Sayamalo some trouble. We've also got Deion Jones and Olokun in the middle, especially Deion Jones, who's going to do some damage and limit Miles Sanders tomorrow and limit Kenny Gainwell too. Not the second one. And we've also got, AJ Terrell. Look, I know he didn't play too well against Devontae Smith and Natty, but he's been in the league for 2 years now, right? Like, he's got the experience. Devontae Smith's the rookie. This is all new for him. And AJ Terrell's going to come in here and shut him down. So, and not to mention, we've got Isaiah Oliver at corner. He's moving inside. He's not going to be playing outside. So whoever's in there, Rager Watkins, put who you want on him. Oliver is going to be able to get the job done. And look, we've also got the better special teams than you guys. Cordell Patterson returning kicks right now. He's going to change field position. We've got Avery Williams, our undrafted rookie, or actually 5th-round rookie, I should say, from Boise State, who averaged 30 yards a kick last year and 15 yards a punt return in his final season at Boise State. He also had 2 punt return touchdowns and 2 kick return touchdowns, which led the league. So I'm sorry, Jock Talk. I'm sorry. I got forced to do it. And you've also got Avery Williams, who's going to be able. Avery Williams is also going to be able to play gunner on punting. All right. I'm not a Falcons fan anymore. I'm done with that. You're
hey,
JC. You really just you trying to make me. You're going to post my clip or something, and then expose me.
Look. I thought that this would have been a fun thing to, just put out there, because I feel like as a Falcons fan, their mindset is exactly what you just said. But I feel like that Matt Ryan is older. And what happened when Antonio Brown left and Juju was supposed to be that number 1 guy? Juju was not that number 1 guy. He wasn't that dude. So what makes you think that Ridley could be that dude without Julio Jones, covering them? So that's what I'm saying. So that's my, rebuttal for Ridley, also being that top tier wide receiver. And no, I don't think that Ridley is going to be that dude against the Eagles, especially now week 1. It's week 1. So I feel like that they're going to lean more on, they're going to try to run a lot more, a little quick screen game. Kyle Pitts is going to be a big factor, but Ridley remind me of a Juju Smith-Schuster, whatever his name is. He got voted the MVP on his own teim, and then Brown left. And
his name is, at the Philly Insider podcast, we call him Corvette. He doesn't deserve to be called by his name.
I think his name is John Smith or something like that. Like Juju.
Something.
These comments are so funny, man. Oh man, they went on you, man. Let me see this one. Oh, Jock went on you. Look, I put him in this situation. I put him in this situation.
He warned me before the stream too, so don't worry. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I did. I did say. All right, so what are some keys to Eagles victory. If we do this and do this, the Eagles would come out 1-0 and be sitting on top of the division. We know the Cowgirls lost on Thursday. We know that the Giants have to play the Denver Broncos. With a great defense, by the way, with Von Miller, and Chubb and Surtain, and their offense is no slouch with Bridgewater as a quarterback, with Judy, with Noah Fant. And then we go to the Washington football team against the Chargers, with Herbert, with Keenan Allen, with Bosa rushing. So those two games, I think we have the easiest matchup between those two. So we should be 1-0, and everybody else should be 0-1 in the division. So what are some keys in order for us to be sitting on top of the division, head up high, trolling the rest of the division on Monday morning?
All right. So big thing for me is the interior defensive line has got to get home. Against the rookie left guard, you've also got Matt Hennessy, who hasn't started much. And you've got, Chris Lindstrom is at right guard. I know these comments are killing me, man. But, Chris Lindstrom can only handle one or two guys at a time. And look, if Fletcher Cox is double teamed, Javon Hargrave is going to have room to run up the middle one-on-one. Vice versa, Fletcher Cox versus – if you give me Fletcher Cox versus a rookie left guard, good night. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll take that all day. Now, what I think, is likely to happen at times is center and left guard will probably allocate towards Hargrave, but they can't control where we line up. I mean, we can put Cox wherever we want. So I think that those guys get home. Milton Williams, if he comes in to spell snaps for them at all, just being productive, whether he's off the edge or in the middle. I think that also – you're going to have times where I still think, even though we're not in the Jim Schwartz era, I think they're going to put some of the defensive ends on the interior at times. I think that it helps get those interior guys. Interior guys are a little bit bigger, right? Those are bulky guys. They need a little bit more rest, I think, than the other guys. So if you can put those 4 defensive ends out there, if you got Kerrigan and Sweat off the edge, and then you've got Graham and Barnett in the middle, I mean, that'll help a ton. So whatever it is, getting home, and also double A gap too with Mike Zimmer's bringing over, which if you play Madden, it's also on that in the Eagles playbook. But bringing those 2 linebackers on either side, both sides of the center, and dropping 1 or 2 of them back and just disguising where you're going to bring pressure off from. And also with that, you can bring Kayvon Wallace down to the line of scrimmage and maybe pretend like you're going to have him off the edge like Harrison Smith. And not to mention, if you have Avery and Pat Johnson come down the line, those 4-3 underlooks, those guys can get pressure at times as well. So I think it's just, there's going to be pressure off the edge one way or another, but can we get home in the middle and take a big advantage of that matchup? I think we just got to take that opportunity. So that's key 1. Key 2 is I really do think Kyle Pitts is just a freak of nature. So I think we just got to find a way to keep him limited. Don't let him get in his groove or get confident early on. Let him know he's a rookie, and just make sure you prevent a big performance from him. And 3, I mean, I would really just say, in terms of the Eagles, I would just say attack matchups. I mean, look, AJ Terrell is going to be, he's a good corner. He's getting better. He's coming in his 2nd year. I think he's going to be better. But Fabian Moreau, we've seen him on Washington before. Isaiah Oliver in the slot, I know he's expected to be better. He's a bigger guy. He might have to get Goddard at times. But look, just attack matchups. Devontae's going to be open at times. You're going to see him on one side of the field alone a lot of the time. Get Rager and Watkins the ball when they're in the slot, because I think they're going to win a lot of the time just in man coverage. And, just getting Jalen Hurts comfortable, I think, is a big thing. So those are my 3 keys to the game. What are your keys?
I have about 4 of them. 1, Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni. Yeah. How many times last year that Doug Pearson cost us to win a game? But stupid play callings, going for it on 4th and 1, and instead of kicking field goals. So I think that the play calling is going to be crucial. 2 is JG. His play calling, his defensive scheme is going to be crucial. We didn't see nothing throughout the preseason. We don't know what he's going to run. So your head coach and your defensive coordinator have to be the 2 key factors. And then number 3, your offense and defensive line. If we control that, if we could get to Matt Ryan, a Kyle Pitts would be a non-factor. It really would be a non-factor within 3 seconds. The ball is snapped, Matt Ryan is on his back, And then the thing is, if that happens the first half and we're up double digits, Now it's really become a lot harder for Matt Ryan because he's one dimension. So now we could just go after him, and it's just going to get worse. And the more you pass on the team, and they know that you passing, turnovers happens.
Exactly.
You on your tail, and I believe that offensive line, defensive line need to play a big role. And my last key is Jalen Hurts. Slow it down, protect the ball. Don't try to prove anybody wrong. This is only week one. You have 16 more games after that, so
Right.
just slow it down, control the flow of the game, see your reads, see your see the coverages, and just be that leader of the team. You got voted
Yep.
captain for a reason. So you're the
Yeah,
captain of the
exactly.
ship. So just don't sink the ship. Do not sink the ship. All right. So right now, hey, you have a great ship with no holes in it. But hey, we'll see what happens as the season go along. So just
Right.
control. Hey, we're heading north. Hey, don't try to turn any other. Just keep it on a straight and narrow.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I couldn't agree more. I'm so excited.
All right. So my last thing right here. I don't know the next time I'm going to talk to you or anything like that. So who's winning the
Hey,
game?
we'll do it.
And
We'll do it soon.
all right, and what is your prediction for the Eagles forward? Your
Yeah.
final prediction.
Yeah. Well, first off, I want to say, dude, I'm gonna be having you on my channel a ton this season. So we'll
Okay.
we'll be talking. I mean, I know I'm in college and all that, so I'm gonna be busy from time to time, but I'll make the time for you, man. I love talking football with you, and it's just always you always get me hyped, but you also bring the analysis too. It's a great mix too. And when I need the hype and some analysis too, I got Bird Gang too, who just gets me like juiced up for the games. But both you guys, I appreciate you a ton. So I just want to say that. But prediction for tomorrow. I mean, obviously the Eagles are taking the dub. We're going. Here's what I'm gonna say. I got the Eagles taking a 24-23 victory with Jake Elliott kicking the last second field goal to win the game, and I think Quez Watkins gets us into that field position with a big catch. And I also think that I think Kenny G is going to have a surprise big game tomorrow as well. And I think on the defensive side, I think Alex Singleton's going to ball out. So with that said, my record prediction, I'm going to go with 9-8 NFC East champs. There hasn't been a repeat champ. Throw out Washington. Dallas sucks. They always underperform. They play to the level of their opponent, but they always fall short. Get them out of here. New York, Daniel Jones is still the quarterback. That's all I need to say.
Look, you already know I got us winning tomorrow, and I feel like past years it's been close. It always came down to a
Mm-hmm.
last minute stop, goal line, or a Nelson Stinkelar drop down sideline, or
Oh, oh,
see, because the Zach Hurts 1 yard short would never happen if Nagular would have caught that
exactly.
ball. That Julio Jones, that screen would never happen because they would have been fighting, But so I think with a dual threat quarterback, this is the first time that the Falcons is going to face the Philadelphia Eagles. If it always been close without a dual threat quarterback, so I think this year we're going to have a little bit of more breathing room. So I say it's going to be 34-21. Eagles win.
Love it.
Jalen Hurts have a great game, with the 2 passing tubs, 1 rushing. A special team might return 1 for a touchdown. Jake Elliott, he's going to have a big game, kicking by 50 yarders. And I feel like that our record prediction for the year will be 10-7. 10-7. I think we have to get to 10 wins because this division got a lot better from last year. And also, everybody was hurt last year, too. The Cowboys with Dak was hurt. Philadelphia, their whole team was hurt. Their coach was hurt, just based on the play calling that he was doing last year.
Right.
Washington, they went through quarterbacks last year. The Giants, they were hurt, but they sucks. But still, I believe that this division got a lot better. And we are about to go back to a few years ago when we have been the most competitive division. I'm not going to say we are this year, but it's not going to be a 3-4 win division like we was last year when it was week 16 and we had 4 wins and still could have won the division. It's not going to be that this year. I believe that we're going to shock a lot of teams. as a whole within the division, when we play other teams, that I believe that we're gonna shock them, because I believe that our division, it's a lot better than last year. And these teams are saying, "Oh man, that's NFC least." They were in it last year. No, I believe overall, I'm not gonna hate on no team. I believe the Cowboys definitely got better with Dak being back. The Giants definitely got better with the upgrades they did with Galladay. The Washington football team bringing in Fitzpatrick was a big move, a veteran presence. It's just the fact that we don't know how long he could go, but still, he could beat some teams outside of the division. In the Philadelphia Eagles, a dual threat quarterback, a new head coach, a new defensive coordinator. So this division might surprise a lot of people. So 10-7, worst case scenario, 8-9.
Love it. Well, JC, I'm just practicing my wave for when we eliminate Dallas in Week 18 this year. So that's all I got to say.
Yes, sir. All right. So, hey, we are about to wrap it up. So, once again, look, I appreciate you coming on here one last time. Let them know where they could find his link is in the it's on in the link below. So, click that link, hit him up. He's very knowledgeable. He's in college, and I could have sworn he worked for ESPN with the type of knowledge that he's bringing on this show day in, day out. And that's why you probably was, besides Bergen, you are the only person that I had 3 shows with. So I love bringing you back on. So let them know where to find you at and anything that you're working on and any other stuff.
Yeah, well, JC, I appreciate you so much. Hey, this guy right here is one of the quickest growing Eagles pages I've seen. I'm like, how this guy already at 800 subscribers, getting close? I think you're almost at 800, right?
No,
I just hit 700.
Yeah, last night.
Got you. Well, hey, I mean, look, this guy's going to be at 100K in no time, a million in no time. Going to be the next Eagles' biggest content creator. So, hey, I appreciate you having me on your channel. It's an honor, and I just love talking birds with you, man. Like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the season, and yeah, you guys can check me out at almost blew that up. InsideTheEagles.com. Where I write a lot of articles. I'm going to be writing a lot more. I haven't written in a little bit, but I have some releasing today. And Philly Insider Podcast, we're going to have film breakdowns, season previews with, other podcasters for the other teams, except when it's the Cowboys. We don't do that. But, yeah, I mean, we're going to be doing a lot of coverage this year, trying to give you the best in-depth coverage of the Eagles as much as possible. And, hey, this guy right here is going to be doing it as well. So appreciate you, JC. You're the man. Thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, look, if you're not following me, please go sub me up. I mean, my goal is to do the play-by-play every Sunday for the Eagle fans that can't, see the game in their region and stuff like that. So, hey, sub me up. And also, I'm going to be doing the pregame show from 11 to noon every Sunday. I try to give you the last-minute breaking news before the game starts. So we have a lot of things in the work, with Bergen Nation. Sports media, so we all gonna be on that one channel. So please go sub that up. Yeah, I mean that's it. Look, tomorrow is game day. We are, matter of fact, in 23 hours and 48 minutes from now it's kickoff. 23 hours and 48 minutes from now it's kickoff. So let's get it on. Let's start the season 1-0 and everybody else 0-1, top of the division. As always, this is your boy JC Eagle. Go Birds.